Hey everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to make the scale work for you. When I first lost my, initial amount of weight, the 40 pounds, and then I just started losing more a little bit slowly, I did certain things and learned how to, tip the scale in my favor. There was things I learned, little cheats about what to eat, what not to eat, that got the weight to go down faster. Now, you can do this several different ways, but this will work for you, if you figure it out for you. So first of all, I want to tell you that the scale is always, it's showing your body retention, but it's not always showing you the proper amount. It doesn't tell you that you've gained fluid or fat. So a lot of times it's not reflecting your true weight because you could be holding on to a little extra water. You could need to have a couple bowel movements. So sometimes that scale is not always correct. So you need to remember that when you're weighing yourself in and out. Just keep that in mind. In one day, if you're up 3 or 4 pounds from having a lot of sodium, you're retaining fluid. You're not going up in fat. You didn't gain a bunch of weight. And if you continue to eat well the rest of the time, that weight should come off, and sometimes even a little bit more if you did eat under calorie. So I want to tell you guys a little bit of what I learned for me that helped me lose my biggest amount of weight. Well, first of all, I realized that, for one, it's hard to limit dairy. It's hard to limit nuts. It's hard to limit sweets and treats. So for about a good 3 months or so, I cut it all out because I wanted the weight to go off very quickly, and then I was going to add it back in, and that's what I'm doing now, and learning how to eat a little bit of it while still maintaining and losing the weight that I want. Mostly I'm pretty happy with where I'm at now. I'm pretty small, I look good, I look healthy. Where I'd say is I'm more like toning up, and I'd like to just kind of drop the little bit of my weight just as it comes all on its own. But for the most part, I feel pretty good now. But when I was losing that weight, what I learned is to experiment with your macros and the scale. So there were some days or weeks where I'd do a little bit of higher fat and I would retain weight, a little bit more even a little bit more carbohydrate or anything, dairy, fats, I would gain weight. So what I found for me is if I ate more protein and I made that my focus, or I ate a little bit more so towards that direction, I could eat almost as much as I kind of wanted to in protein and I would lose weight. I do have to limit my fat, and I do need to keep my carbohydrates quite low for me in order to lose weight. And then I could do about 1 to 2 days of adding in a little bit higher carb, and my body could burn that. But if I did more, I would tend to not lose weight as quickly. So that's what I started doing, is playing with the scale and eating those combinations. And I found my combination that worked for me. And if I ate that way, I'd lose weight. And it's pretty basic, and you guys have seen my food. It's nothing too crazy. It's like hard-boiled eggs, protein, and some veggies. That's mostly what I'm eating every single day. I have now been adding a little bit of dairy back in, and that's given me some trouble. I've not lost some weight due to that, so I am very limited with the amount. That's why I don't add cheese or anything. But here's the thing, is if you want to add nuts in, or you want to add dairy, or I did good with that for a period of time. I could eat a little bit of it at first, but then when my weight loss started to slow down, because now I only have about 10, 15 pounds left maximum to lose off my body. My body's a little bit more picky about what it's going to do to lose weight. I'm maintaining weight fine, but to get my body to want to lose it is getting harder for me. So maybe for you, if you're playing around or trying to find that happy medium, try adding only one thing per day. You're going to do a dairy, a higher fat, or a higher carb, but don't pick all three. A lot of times it's just too much for your body. those of us who are gaining weight, it's not because we're usually overeating, it's because our bodies aren't handling what we're eating. I have friends who will eat 1,500 calories basically in like Doritos, and as long as they're under calorie, they lose weight. They can eat whatever they want. I do that, and I will eat only 500 calories of Doritos, and the next day I'm up in weight on the scale, yet I underate. So it just depends on your body. But if you really want to lose weight, you might need to limit or cut back. Or, start cutting your dairy back each day to find out where you are. Because I'm just saying that because I know a lot of people like dairy. I grew up lactose intolerant. I like it, but I don't have to have it. It's not really a big deal for me. It's not really hard for me to give it up. But you might need to try, maybe you can only have dairy 3 days a week, but you can't do 4. Or, you can do a little extra bread, but then you need to limit those fats per day and find that happy balance for you where you figure out where it works. And when all else fails, go back to what did work. Go back to that week where you did lose a lot of weight and you're like, man, that week I lost so much weight, and kind of duplicate it or see what you're eating. And, because a lot of times each week you try and eat differently, but don't do that. Stick to what's working. If it's working, don't stop doing it. Just keep going with it. Don't fix what's not broken. So for me, I found I can eat as much protein as I want, decent amount of fats, and a lot of vegetables, and I lose weight. If I start to add in just a little bit too much fruit or a little bit too much nuts and dairy, I just won't lose weight anymore. I'm just like, dang it. So that's what I've kind of found. But if I want to get that scale to move, I know what I have to do. I may not like it, but I know what to do to get it to move. Now what I've found, more that I'm in maintenance, I can maintain my weight easy. So I can eat as much dairy as I want to, or nuts, or add that in. But the thing is, if I'm planning on losing weight, it's not really going to happen. My body is just going to keep where it is. So play around with that, and that's how to make the scale work for you. And you may not like it, but if you want to lose weight, you might have to do whatever you have to do. But just figure out that even balance. Play around with it and learn how to make the scale a good thing, that you know how to do it, and find that balance between, okay, I can live like this, but maybe I can't live like that. So finding those things that do work for you. So if you can't give up dairy completely, just try and limit it or play around with it a little bit. So that way you can feel good about the scale and know that when you step on it, you're going to get it to move down.